Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. First roundup of the year. Hope everyone had a good New Year's. Anyway, so we're going to kick things off with a kind of small video. We don't have that big of a haul this week, but still, start small. Kicking things off, we've got Fall of the House of X, #1. So, Orchis has basically won. Staging a massive attack on the Hellfire Gala, scattering mutants to the stars and beyond, capturing Cyclops. Not to mention their PR war, which was fairly successful. Though pockets of resistance still remain. So the issue opens. Cyclops explains a dream that he has of being led through the desert. His trial occurs. It's led through the desert into a Wild West town where he's tried, convicted, and the noose is put around his neck. He's up on the gallows. The door drops, but he doesn't fall. And that's where the dream ends. The Cyclops arrives in Paris for his actual trial. Not the dream, but the real thing. But the X-Men are already planning a rescue mission. It's said that probably the first ever mutant circuit was thought to be the Fastball Special. For those who are unaware, the Fastball Special is Colossus or someone of an equal or higher strength level throwing Wolverine as a projectile. So now, trying to rescue Cyclops, they consider the possibility of a reverse Fastball Special. Only they can't really think of a name for it. The idea where Colossus throws a foe at Wolverine, and that foe gets sliced and diced, and yeah. After all, Wolverine's the best at what he does, and what he does ain't pretty. But they're in the sewers underneath Paris. There's a break in the trial, and Dr. Lena Gregor as well as Omega Sentinel come to see Cyclops, basically gloat. And Cyclops asks a very pointed question. What happens after, when the last mutant is dead under Orchis' heels? Dr. Gregor replies that she's not sure. Supposes mankind exhales and lives happily ever after. But Cyclops explains that he wasn't asking her. After all, he knows how that often happens. Plenty of dystopian futures that the X-Men have met refugees from, or recruited refugees from. Basically, point out that what happens is, yeah, sure, with the help of Sentinels, mutants get one way or another neutered, basically, made to be not so much of a threat, and then the Sentinels, in the name of protecting humanity, take over to the point where they are the unfeeling, uncaring rulers of Earth. But anyway, on Krakoa, Xavier gets in touch with Rasputin. Apparently, they have a plan, though Rasputin is part of the X-Men's plan. And Xavier basically says, "Hey, yeah, forget about what you're doing in Paris. We need to enact our plan now." This, of course, pretty well screws up the rescue plan mission. Orchis brings through a tank with an electromagnet, but Nightcrawler shows up, makes the basically destroys the tank, and the X-Men teleport out of the sewer. Cyclops gives his defense, mainly stating that he can only be judged by one person, Jean. Nimrod is sent down to Krakoa to destroy it, but Krakoa encases Nimrod and Amber, gets up, and runs. Also, it seems that Nimrod's amberized form is absorbed into Krakoa, or at least kept in. There's a statement from Cyclops, from the office of his lawyer, Jennifer Walters. "If you're reading this, then I have been convicted of serious crimes by Orchis. I haven't made much of an attempt to follow the charges. Last I paid attention, it's everything from mass murder to somehow being an invasive species, whatever the hell that means. When we breathed life into Mars, I was concerned that the worst in humanity would seize upon our actions and use them as pretext to forcibly deport us off-world. Unfortunately, I was right. On the night of what the world calls the Mutant Massacre, I was attacked in New York City and my back was broken. I was then held as a prisoner of war and tortured. My wife was one of the humans and mutants who were murdered at the Hellfire Gala. Benier's expose reveals the evil heart that beats in Orchis' chest. I'm assuming that's why I was bounced around the world after his story printed, and I'm being charged in France, whose leaders are likely compromised by Orchis in order to host my show trial. This letter will be held by my attorney until the trial is over. I plan to present no defense, nor speak in front of cameras. It may seem a strange choice for someone who is innocent of all charges. I'm not guilty, I'm not afraid. I simply don't want to provide fodder for the Orchis propagandists. We're in this predicament not because I lost a great battle, but because of big lies told by powerful people. But I know the truth. I'm a mutant. I'm an X-Man. I belong here. Mutant lives do not beget human deaths. I was born right here in the United States of America. Does the Constitution not guarantee me the same rights as anyone else? I will not be murdered by Orchis without a fight. And I ask everyone reading these words a simple question. Once fascism kills mutants, who will be next? Maybe you. Even now, I'm an optimist, and not because I've looked at the world through Ruby Quartz lenses my entire adult life. I reject Orchis' jurisdiction over me. I resist. I wish you peace, unless you're one of the people or artificial intelligences that wishes harm upon my family. If you are one of those souls, I suggest you change your heart, if you have one. It's never too late to turn away from hate. You might wonder why I participated in Orchis' sham trial at all if I had no intention of defending myself. I was buying time for my teammates and friends to gather their forces. Now I will defend myself. Cyclops of the X-Men. Gregor made a statement through all the Stark Sentinels. The X-Men begin working on their plan. Shadowcat acts as a catalyst, basically getting to telling Tony Stark and Emma Frost that things are a go. Then getting to Arakko and telling the mutants there that things are a go. Getting to Juggernaut at the X-Mansion. Apparently he raided one of Cable's armories. And also, it seems the Avengers, Captain America, Sam Wilson, Miss Marvel are seen. However, she arrives at Island M and to recruit Polaris, but all she finds is a crumbled coffee cup and Lorna's clothes. In Nowhere, in orbit around Jupiter, Brew is tending to the brood under his control, as it were. When Polaris arrives, wearing a outfit which seems very much in keeping with the style of her father, explains what's happened to mutant kind, and basically recruits the brood as an army, and leads Nowhere to war. And that is where the issue ends. Strong start. There's going to be a companion miniseries, Rise of the Powers of 10, which will be, I believe, starting next week? Yes. That'll be next week. But I guess beginning and ending the Krakoan Age in with dual interconnected miniseries. That's cool. I'm down. Moving on though to our next book, and as well as the last book for the moment, we've got Vengeance of the Moon Knight, #1. Mark Spector has died, giving his life to save New York City from Black Spectre. The newest Black Spectre, his old friend, Dr. Plesko. While Moon Knight may be dead, the Midnight Mission lives on. So the issue is largely told from Reese's perspective. She's talking with Dr. Sturman, basically going over everything that's happened. Ben Grimm came to help with taking care of Mark's passing. Those who ran the Midnight Mission, they sat Shiva for Mark, as well as Stephen and Jake. But reached out to Ben Grimm because, well, I mean, he always sent a Hanukkah card. But there was something of a funeral, and the other heroes stepped up to do the work of the mission while those running the mission run the mission were sitting Shiva. Among those present are Captain America, Steve, Hawkeye, Doctor Strange, and Clea Strange. There's a couple others as well. But basically doing the good work of the Midnight Mission in the staff of the mission's absence. But when she was over, they got to work. Dr. Sturman asks if Reese really is the right thing for her to do is continue the work of the Midnight Mission. After all, she's only 19 years old. But she explains that she quit college to run the Midnight Mission. She's a vampire. She's going to be 19 forever. Or 19 forever. She doesn't have a life to waste, but she has plenty of unlife ahead of her. And we see Reese and Soldier dealing with a couple of demons. But they get a little in over their head, and so Hunter's Moon helps them out. Being a priest of Khonshu, he is able to exorcise the demons. Tigra is looking for Black Spectre her own way. Likely the way that that Mark would be looking for Black Spectre had he not been killed. But Reese manages to talk her down, and part of it is they kind of figure that, you know, Fist of Khonshu don't really die. Yeah, right now Mark can't be resurrected. Khonshu can't do resurrections. But she even adds that, you know, and if he can't be resurrected because Khonshu's imprisoned, Reese says they'll kick down the doors of Asgard to free Khonshu, if that's what it takes. But apparently, 8-Ball has been attacked. His helmet smashed up, tossed into the Midnight Mission. Dr. Sturman asks if maybe Reese is afraid that Mark won't come back. But Reese is more afraid that she's more afraid that Mark may already have. Just wrong. As it was Moon Knight who tossed 8-Ball's bruised and battered body into the Midnight Mission. As he tells everyone else to get out of his house. And that is where the issue ends. Should be noted that this Moon Knight costume, as you saw from the cover, take another look, is inverted. Whereas Moon Knight's usual costume is white, with the occasional bits of black here and there. This is black with white highlights. The idea of which will lend credence to the idea that Mark may have come back just wrong. Because Mark's whole thing about wearing white has always been, he doesn't want to hide in the shadows. He wants people to see him coming. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. Very strong start to Vengeance of the Moon Knight. I look forward to the basic kind of cracking, you know, who is the new Moon Knight. Cracking that. Look forward to seeing how that mystery resolves. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.